What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Phase 6, your source for music, business, motivation, and support. It's your boy, Sir Love, and this is another episode of Ask Sir Love, as you can see right here on the screen. So, I'm getting ready to answer some questions. It's a question that popped up that I feel like needs some attention. I want to talk about it. If you want me to talk about your question, all you got to do is leave questions on the YouTube page. Leave questions and we'll talk about it, all right? So, let's jump into it, all right? This brother by the name of Trey Avalon sends me a question. He says, I'm a rapper who has a production team of 3 working alongside me. How do I go about having someone actually contractually bound instead of just verbal agreements? Do I have everyone sign a production deal, work for hire? I want to put myself in the best position and plan for long term. Well, thank you for reaching out and sending the question. Remember, if you guys want to talk to me directly on the show Chasing Greatness, where we actually go back and forth with one another, you send a text message to 404-442-4792. But since that's not the case, it's a comment. I'm going to try to respond and see if I can help you out here. Now, you were watching the video Team Up and Get On, right? Which is a dope video. If you guys haven't seen it, please watch the video. The video is really about how to structure your team, which makes sense why you're asking this question. So here we go. Get into the answer. The first thing that is perplexing to me about this particular question is you say you want them to be contractually bound to you and you're a rapper, all right? You also say there's 3 people working alongside of you, and I'm not sure what capacity. So I'm going to make some assumptions, and I'm going to give you a lot of different variables because this question really isn't as specific as it probably needs to be for me to give you an accurate answer, all right? And that's just me being 100. But I'm assuming the fact that you said production deal here, that these guys are producers or writers of some sort. You have producers and writers that are working with you, or engineers, producers, writers, engineers. They're working with you, and you want them to be contractually bound. Now, typically, these type of entities are not contractually bound to an artist unless that artist is at, a super high caliber, right? I got friends that signed, a producer friend that signed to Nicki Minaj. I got a producer friend that signed to Justin Bieber. Like that happens, right? At this stage, right? At the stage, and let me make sure I'm correct about the stage. Let me not make assumptions, right? Let's pull up the channel, because I look up, you got 5 billion plays. Maybe you do have the stage. All right. So relatively, just based off the views, real quick, you're relatively new to the game, right? Or you haven't gotten the success that you want to see. Not new. You haven't gotten the success you want to see just yet. You're still working. Keep it going. All right. So what do you need to do with the team? This is what you need to do. Number 1. Verbal agreements is where it starts, because there's no reason to sign them to you unless you are going to put yourself in a position to guarantee them consistent capital, right? That means you are going to be bringing other artists. You're going to be creating some type of revenue stream for them. A work for hire agreement would put you in a scenario where you own everything that they do, right? Or they own everything that you do if you signed it, or vice versa, right? Work for hire is not going to be applicable in this situation because if you guys are collaborating together and working together, you would literally just be taking advantage of them, or vice versa. When I see production deal, that would mean that you would be signing yourself to them, saying that, hey, you guys are going to be, my producers. I'm going to sign to you. You are responsible for doing X, 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 and X from a production perspective, right? And if they wanted to do a production deal, that should be something they're offering you, not necessarily something that you would offer to them. If you want to offer them something, maybe a song deal may be more applicable, where you're saying, hey, I'm going to guarantee you X amount of songs on my project in exchange for blah, 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 whatever those things are that you want or desire. When you say that you want them to be bound to you, right, or contractually bound, you're really trying to say that I'm assuming that you don't want you guys to break up. You want to make sure that they don't leave you and work with another producer, another artist, or like that. It gets a little vague there, if I'm just being honest. Traditionally, rappers are not going to sign someone to them unless that rapper recognizes that, hey, if I put you on, if I sign you, you're going to blow up because I'm hot. And the moment I rap on your song, you're going to make X amount of dollars. And if that's the case, I want a cut of that. So what the artists do is they say, listen, you're going to sign to me. I'm going to rap on your music. You're going to get paid. I'm going to get paid off of that music as well. And I'm going to introduce you to other people in the game, almost like a manager, where you're going to continue getting paid, right? It's a win-win situation. Artists become, pretty much salespeople for said producers. You also see this happen when labels want to keep money in-house, right? For example, if a label has a budget from a larger record label, say Universal sends, the record label X amount of dollars to produce an album, the label may say, all right, we have $500,000 to produce this album. I don't necessarily want to pay someone that's not a part of this label because I want to keep all the money circulating in-house. I don't want to send the money out and pay all these different people. We have 4 or 5 producers here. Let them eat. I sign them. I believe in them. I want them to win. We have writers here. Let them eat. We have our own studio. Let the people at our studio make money. They want to keep the money in-house because they're taking care of a lot of people. They have a lot of mouths to feed. In these types of scenarios, they'll sign the producer, right? So that they can, it makes sense to keep you in that money pot, right? Because if if the artist, and to give you clarity on this, artist is signed to a label that thinks this way, right? The artist wants the producer to get some of this money that's coming in. The artist wants to work with this producer. Artist may sign producer to the artist. So now that the producer is in the system and now has access to all the revenue streams that are coming through said system. So you see these types of things happen. But at this stage, what you're really looking for is passion and everyone being dedicated to the same vision, the same goal of greatness. They believe in you, you believe in them. You have a non-exclusive situation where they're working with other people, you're free to work with other people, and you just know that, when you pop, you're going to put them on because that's the energy that you have. There are really no guarantees unless you sign to them or you create your own production company and sign them to you and make it your production company, even though you don't do production. To validate that, you probably need to buy the studio, own the studio, or something of that nature. You own the studio, you house producers and writers, and now they're signed to you on a production deal. If that's what you want to go into, that'd be the more business savvy way to do it. But there's so many options. There's not enough details in here, but I hope I gave you a few different ways to think about this scenario, and I hope it was beneficial and impactful for you, Trey. Other than that, listen, subscribe, follow, question. How many other artists out here are in the same situation? Because that's interesting. How many of you artists are looking for ways to sign your producers, sign your writers, sign your engineers? I really want to know if that is a trend. I'm curious. And if you are a producer or a writer, how open are you to signing with an artist that may not be established? I would love to hear this type of insight. Let's get some conversation going in the comments. And if you want to talk to me direct, remember it's 404-442-4792. I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little and a little bit about a lot. I'm always trying to give you guys everything that I got right here on Phase 6. I'm Sir Love, and I'm out. Take care.